my name is Peter Hoekstra, and in the coming session, we will dive into the real-time problem solving based on the experimental guide that we built up in the past 2 years. And Gonzalo will dive into it in a few seconds to explain this journey. And but maybe before we go to the topic, I would like to share with you who is in the panel. And so let me show first the names: Luca, Gonzalo, Danielle, and John. Instead of that I start to say who is who, maybe a few words. Gonzalo, tell me, who are you?
Okay, a little bit about myself. Thank you, Peter. Hello, everyone. Greetings. Thanks for being here and making the time to assist this session. Glad you are here. About me, I've been fortunate enough to have multiple roles within IT, starting from pre-sales, then architect, done some delivery and implementation services of multiple technologies, also done project management and many years as sales executive. All these roles allowed me to now have more holistic vision and a customer-centric approach. So these are key aspects for the role I have right now as a consultant. This role in Kyndryl Consult, I'm responsible for the go-to-market for application data and AI portfolio in Mexico. And I'm working within this Kyndryl Consult team, empowering clients with their transformational journeys and challenges through this agnostic and holistic and also this multidisciplinary or cross-functional teams approach. So we do collaboration with clients in a co-creation model to build their strategic and operational planning along with execution of a roadmap so that they can build up their transformational journeys.
Nice.
That's about
it. And then I see Luca's already waiting to present himself. Luca, help us out. You guide us also within our work group. Go ahead.
Yeah, so over the years, I've done, I think, a lot of work together with DASA. I started out as a mechanical engineer and somehow tumbled into IT, never quite found my way back out. And yeah, this is something that I suppose paints my outlook on all things in the IT industry. A very pragmatic approach, a very engineering-driven approach, which has led me almost inexorably towards DevOps and collaboration. Yes, and I've created a training that I'm very proud of for DASA, DevOps Specify and Verify. I'm part of this working group here. I'm also part of another working group for embedded systems, DevOps and embedded systems for DASA. And in fact, that is something that I've been focusing on a lot lately, bringing all of these approaches, not just to traditional industries, purely software work of any kind, but really making that work in broader contexts. So that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you. Yeah, and for those that are maybe curious why Daniel is still having a code in his name, it's not that he is working for the Secret Service and joining us with a hidden name. Daniel, who are you? Yeah, and it looks like that your mic is not giving us the voice that we were waiting for. Maybe try again, Daniel, and let me listen. And no problem, I will step to John in the meantime, and Daniel can play with the microphone, and then I will bring John to the stage. Please go ahead, John.
Yes, hello. Welcome everybody, and thank you for attending. My journey started when I was a hands-on coder and engineer many years ago, and I was really frustrated with leaders and the leadership above not knowing what they're doing and leading us. And so over the last couple decades, more than I want to admit, I've been all about transformational leaders. How can you be the best transformational leader and transformational officer you can be for your organization? And so working with DASA, been with DASA many years now, an ambassador for the US for DASA, working many different working groups and stuff, and and it's just been a great thing in that DASA gets it. They understand it. It's all about culture and mindsets, and you start with the people. And so this group right here, our working group with our experiential guide, what we wanted to bring to you was that experiential piece, as if we're in your back corner and your back pocket with you on your journey. And how can we be that Sherpa or guide to help you along your journey? And so the best way we can do that without physically being there is give this guide and tell your stories. So I hope that you guys, get from this group, our stories and get to apply it to your real world. And that's what we're all about. And that's what I'm all about. So if you need any help along the way, look forward to hearing from you. Let's go have the conversation. Back to you, Peter.
Thank you, John. And for those that noticed, you might have seen that Daniel switched with his microphone. And so if you unmute Daniel, we will give you the second chance to step on the stage. And please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Peter. How is it right now? Is it working?
Yes.
By the way, guys, I tested it before the webinar, so sorry for that. Nevertheless, technology. Speaking about the technology, I am a person who is working in the technology business, in the IT business for the last 16 years, focusing on people, focusing on processes, focusing on technology, various markets and verticals, some construction business, some real estate, some robotic process automation, some fintech, some e-commerce, a lot of different perspectives and a lot of different organizations. Thank you guys for joining this session. I joined DASA exactly because of the possibilities to share my knowledge in the events like that. And yeah, guys, looking forward to this. And DASA for me is all about the people, processes, technology, how to make those transformations successful, how to include those people factors in the transformations that we are doing, how to convince the stakeholders, and so on and so forth. So guys, happy to share my knowledge today. Thank you very much. And it is great to be here. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Well, that brings me to share you the agenda, or maybe to give you a small insight who is Peter Hoekstra. Actually, I've been in both worlds, supporting organizations that were totally into doing development work, and the other side of the world where they were trying to deliver services and stay as stable as possible. So I experienced the challenges of the development world and the operations world. And so I joined DASA also a couple of years ago for 20% of my time involved as a trainer, and for 80% implementing ways of working in organizations, which is a small part, just something out of the book. And in most times, it's all about cultural and making the change happen. As I promised, but first maybe share the agenda. After the introduction, we will do an overview of the experimental guide. And so Gonzalo, are you ready to guide us through this document and how we were working on it in the past 18 months?
Yeah, for sure, Peter. Let's go. So first of all, we will talk about the journey that we went through in creating this experiential guide, and in a common view, like in the maturity phases or a product life cycle of this experiential guide. So first, can you please go ahead, Peter, please? So first, we can easily identify this initial stage, the ideation stage, where we employed some of the design thinking practices from the initial empathize and brainstorming, and getting to know what interests each of us had in this new product we were about to create. So we even encountered, to be honest, the common analysis paralysis, but the reality is that these sessions helped a lot to set the expectations from multiple mindsets, interests, of course, and very strong personalities within the team. Personalities, for example, that Seth Godin describes in his book Tribes as the heretics, right? So these are the people who don't settle. These are the innovators, in the law of diffusion of innovation and the right minds for that blue ocean strategy to change a culture in many years towards the future desired state of these transformational new journeys or new culture or even this new product, for example. So this was not an easy task, of course, but tribes are about connections, right? So about identity. So we focused on creating that. So this tribe present is or has thought leaders, coaches, trainers, and very experienced people trying to find a product that would connect all of us and provoke interest and curiosity to all members. So again, this was not an easy task. Already mentioned, actually one of the first ideas for this guide was that of being the Sherpas of these journeys, where we have been up and down this agile and DevOps mountain. So we want to help elbow to elbow to achieve that transformational change, approaching and driven purely as experience. So it took several sessions to finally get at this common interest in a product and gain this momentum on this stage, the design and the development stage that we got the product envisioned and all hands session in order to finish the design, building it, experiment, testing it, evaluating it, and of course the measure, and the learning to improve the design. So we had several iterations around this cycle until we were comfortable enough with the final result. And believe me, also it took some time. With this experiential guide ready, this brings us to the official launching day, and in mid-February, and now being part of DASA Connect, also this experiential guide, we hope most importantly to hear you, to get some feedback, and of course it's our main intent that we provoke interest and curiosity to all readers and engage with some joyful reading. So I don't know, with this journey, guys, would you like to add something, maybe something I missed? Please go ahead. Anyone? Peter, would you like to add something with this experience creating this product?
Well, I'm also impressed with the number of tools that we were using in the beginning to find our way. And but I really liked, I think it was on Trello that we did a mind mapping, and that works quite well. And you would like to respond to it?
Yeah, we used, as you mentioned, several tools. For example, Miro, to start working with this mind mapping, brainstorming, and trying to get on the same track, all of us. So I don't know, now that we shared a brief journey of this experiential guide, and mainly for those who have not downloaded and read the experiential guide, let me tell you what can you expect. So the content of the experiential guide, as the name by itself states, is completely driven by experiences. So it's a document with each of the author's own experiences and composed in two parts. The experience per se, and the second part is like the solution we took that helped us with this transformational change, changing the culture, adopting practices, redesigning processes, and maybe the adoption of new tooling or technologies that we use in this specific experience or a story. So you can also have this experience by being the reader and trying to, we are trying to engage with a common problem that we all had, for example, adopting automation platforms, containers, and all that, and of course going through the phases of changing the culture and how we ways of working, how we manage this.
Yeah, thank you, Gonzalo. And it's also the idea, I mean, we just did one cycle of creating this document, and based on your reading and your input and experience that we will get in the next half year, there are also new people joining our work group. We will be able to come up with a new update. But let me give a status on where we are in our agenda. And wow, we are right on time, exactly as how we have trained this session last week. And so that brings us to the point that you, as participant, as audience, can step in and maybe that you have, based on what you have been reading or learned already up to this moment now, that you have a question that you would like to bring forward. And what we have in mind later on is to do a breakout, and then we will give you a challenge, and then you give, and then we give all the groups about 10 minutes time to work on it, and then we come back together. But first that we go out in the breakout rooms, I want to check if there is a question within the group. So please turn on your microphone if you would like to ask something for the panel that we have here in front of us. So I'm listening in. You can also indicate by waving, because then you pop up at the top of my screen. So that's easier for me to respond. And in the meantime, while we are searching and waiting for a question, or that we look at the chat, I will set up the breakout rooms. The maximum number of breakouts is 10, and you will be divided automatically in one of the breakout rooms. And the question that I want to share with you, let me put it on the screen. And that all has to do with the dynamic in your organization. Let me see. Maybe to what element within your culture is not supportive, and to do a transition. You can also bring it out in the other way around, like which one was really helpful, and that's the question that we would like to let you work on in the next 10 minutes. And so before I let you go, I will check if there's not a question. No. Then
there is one, Peter. Sorry, there is one, Peter, from Daryl Sherborne.
How did you decide what stories to include in this guide? That's the question from Daryl. Who would like to take it, Tim?
And please repeat your question. What?
Oh yeah. How did you decide what stories to include in this guide?
I'll take that one if you guys want.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm looking at Luca. Can you help how we did that exercise? Because we had much more examples that we finally end up with. How did we select and came up with the ones that are currently published?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that one. I noticed that John also wanted to answer it, but maybe we'll do it that way, John. We'll just share the answer, right? So I'll give my take, and then you can tell me what I forgot. Yeah, so I think we try to go for a good mixture of different, let's call it, flight levels, right? We wanted some aspects that are maybe more on the tactical side, on the process side. We wanted to have some aspects that are on the cultural side. So that was one concern that we had. But what I think also very strongly colored it was that, it's not called the Xperiential Guide for nothing. Those are all accounts of experiences that different working group members had in their past. And the idea behind this was to have you, dear audience, learn from our experiences, maybe our mistakes even, and grow through maybe, through the things that we have been fortunate or unfortunate enough to experience. I think this is how it worked. Wouldn't you agree, John?
Yeah. And the point I was going to make was if you guys remember Gonzalo's slide he just showed you a few minutes ago, how he made the secret sauce behind the scenes, or how the sausage was made, is a common term. That one, yep. You're going to see it's visual, right? And we mentioned mind maps. So as a transformational leader working by vision, it was, how do you take this eclectic group of experts from around the world and come to a common single vision? And that's the exact same journey you're going to do with your organization as you transform, and as you as an individual learns how to transform or be transformative within a group like this, right? And so this to me is, the answer of how did we come up with the stories was, as we progressed in our journey together and making that vision a reality, we sort of landed on, hey, this really resonated with the group of how we felt was the right stories to include. And so it was over a maturation sequence over time, as we, as things ebbed and flowed. That's really how we came to the decision. So
and I think that is our most powerful why. And simply put, it's sharing experiences, bad, good, success, lessons learned, don't matter really. Is sharing that matters, and of course, with the intent of having some feedback and creating things people like and enjoy. So also working with other individuals, which is inspire and challenge us every day, comes along with this case. Working with this team has been a great experience for me. So what I can say is get inspired by learning from others and make your own. Inspiration was the true nature, of this DevOps culture and philosophical movement, right? So in that nature, we try to develop this product and completely experience driven.
Yeah, thanks. And I see they responded as well. I see another, a current main challenge from Abhishek Jain. Though to change team mindset to accept any new process, it's a journey on its own, and especially building up a language set that you all understand each other at the same level, because there is so much misunderstanding, or sometimes that people are too polite and do not dare to ask, what do you mean with a process, procedure, work instruction, a service, all these kinds of topics that can easily mislead and mystify the whole organization. Yeah, I see Danny also talking about value, for example, SOP. And yeah, what is SOP?
Exactly the point. Even though value is broadly used, I get this over and over again in the forums, we are speaking about the strategy, we are speaking about the vision, we are speaking about the delivery, all those factors. And even simplest word like the value is understood in multiple different from multiple different perspectives. SOP stands for the standard operating procedure, and yet another acronym that is there but maybe not easily understood. Thanks, Peter.
Yeah, and well, maybe to go back to one of the statements that we have prepared for you, and also to give you the possibility to work together in a breakout. And so let me click on a couple of buttons on this platform to see if we can end up in a breakout session. We will, looking at the clock, we will do it for about 10-12 minutes, and we as panel will be divided in different breakout groups as well. It will go completely automatically, and so I can't influence that. And after 10-12 minutes, I will automatically kick you all back and ask a few people to stand up and provide input for the whole group. and from there on we will work on. There are a couple of other questions that we have prepared for you as well, but let me give you the moment to find your way in one of the digital rooms, automatically assigned, and there you go. Create the rooms, does that mean that you see the room now, or that you can choose by yourself? Okay, good. Everybody is now in the room. That was fast. Now we'll look at the clock. Okay.
Peter, we have a small issue, like majority of the guys, including me, Luca and Gonzalo, ended up in the single room. So please redirect me into the other room, or you can join me once again to the room number 1. I will just tell them to leave the breakout room and for the redistribution. Can you assign me to anything other than the room number 1?
That's a good question. I'm not sure, because if it is done automatically, I'm not sure if I can.
Okay, I am able to join. Okay, Peter, I am able to join. I will be joining room number 1, or let's do it like that. I will join room number 1. I will tell the guys to leave the meeting and join the next room in the row. Okay, and that's why we should be well. But there are 8 breakout rooms. Okay, give me a sec. I will manage to solve.
And you can step in one of the rooms because all the rooms are listed. So if you go to breakout rooms, for those that like to step in one of the other rooms, click on it. You can step in one of the 10 rooms that are available now. But there are a couple of people left in the central place. So if you have a question, or if you are puzzled to figure out which room you would like to step in, let me know, and otherwise choose your room and work on the question, what element within your culture is not supportive? Yeah, you are muted, Daniel.
would be a good idea.
Okay. Good. Okay. I see a couple of people are still here in the central room. If you have a question that you would like to bring forward later on when we are all back together, please don't hesitate to turn on your microphone and I can write it down and share it with the group later on. Yeah, Marcel.
Hey.
Yeah. And you were in a breakout, Marcel, and you are back now in the central room?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, because I'm curious how people come back from the breakout in the central room, because there is no button to get everybody back in here.
Just hang up the phone, then you leave the room, and then you come back in the main session.
Ah, okay, that's how it works. Good. And I see more people coming back now. Great. And with how many people were you in the breakout, Marcel?
I think it was 7.
Okay.
But only Manish and I were discussing things. So
Yeah.
the rest did not respond. I don't know why. Maybe there
Well,
are
but
audio issues. I have no idea.
And I also think a lot of people are just listening in, and sometimes it helps to do the breakouts to make a large group a bit more interacting with each other, and which is also a technique when you are in a DevOps journey to figure out what's going on in the crowd within your organization.
Yeah.
But let me see the. I've a working environment where all of the DevOps anti-patrons exist. Daryl is sharing, and the leadership team understand this, but they don't know where to start to overcome them all. And yeah. Okay. And so, yep, Daryl, please step forward, and maybe Katrina can help me to indicate to the whole crowd to move back to the central room. And I think by hanging up, you leave the breakout. So hang up within the breakout.
Can't you stop the breakout rooms? Can't you?
Yeah, I was assuming, but that's something that I can normally do on other platforms. But in this case, if I cross-mark, no, I can delete rooms.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to delete the breakout room? Confirm. So that's one way of, but I do it one by one, deleting the breakout rooms, which will force people to come back in the central room. It's a bit impolite because maybe they were in the middle of an interaction, and now they are kicking back in the central room. And John, how was it going in your breakout? And hit the microphone, and then we can hear you because I see that you're already sharing. Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, no, Raj and I are right in the middle of a sentence, and we got cut off. So Raj, the link is in there, but that'll give you some articles, and please reach out to me and we'll continue that conversation. But no, it was great. I'll let Raj speak because it was him and I going back and forth, and you don't. So Raj, what do you think you got out, or to help Peter, help the audience understand what we came up with?
Yeah, how do we kind of get away from transactional leadership, which only concentrates about quantity, whereas how do we kind of get to a place where we kind of have these conversations with transformational, which not talks about the quantity, but focuses more on the quality or the value stream that we deliver. That's the kind of conversation that we had, Peter.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for sharing. And John, you were in the middle of responding.
Oh, we're good. Raj is going to go look at the link I put in the chat there, and Raj just follow up on those articles, and that's got that article what versus how, and you'll see that stuff in there, and that should help you out. And again, reach out if you want to continue the conversation or want further help with that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Nice. And
if I may.
Yes, please go ahead.
If I may, we had actually two challenges, one from Elvira and one from the Daryl. We started to work on the first challenge with the context, with what was already done. We entered the conversation. So Elvira, it is for sure not finished. So Elvira, back to you. Daryl, I will be coming back to you directly. If you can connect with me in the LinkedIn, it would be much easier for me to get back to you guys. So yeah, let's keep this open, and let's wrap up this conversation after this one. Okay, thank you very much.
Good. And in the meantime, I see that Daryl is sharing a couple of insights, as he was not able to do it within the breakout. So that's a functionality that the platform needs to work on. Daryl, can I give you the floor, and maybe you would like to share your thoughts and what was going on in the breakout that you were in? Daryl, go ahead.
Oh, hi. So we weren't discussing this particular thing in the breakout room because we had another topic that was being discussed. But I wanted, I was going to share this in the breakout room, but I couldn't.
Okay.
So this is my particular context where this thing I've shared is a list of DevOps anti-patterns, and I've presented this to the leadership team where I work. They acknowledge that these are existing situation and these are anti-patterns, but they seem stuck in being able to decide what to do first, because this is a list which is quite overwhelming. It's a long list.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, because I've only just downloaded the guide, I'm wondering what stories I should go to that would help guide me in terms of the next steps.
Yeah, nice question. And especially if you have a list of topics that a group is dealing with, sometimes I let a group decide and ask them, like, which topic would you like to work on? And some of them are a bit of taboo, and if they are difficult or very sensitive, it's smart to take like some low-hanging fruit and work on it together, and based on the good experience, you can move on to a more heavier topic. But I'm looking around to one of the people within the panel that would like to respond to this topic. Please step forward if you would like to respond on his remark, how to deal with this, and how you need to read or pick and choose in the experimental guide to use it as a guide. And I was thinking, is it more a cultural thing? And
if there are no volunteers, I will answer this one for Daryl. I would start with the very first experiential guide story by Gonzalo, the very first one. I know this story. Obviously, I was reviewing it, and it is an interesting story to actually see how you can tackle this challenge. And I will let Gonzalo speak. Gonzalo, does that sound good for you? The story called what to do when your culture is not supportive. I think we have a case like that presented by Daryl.
Yeah, and mainly that experience or story focuses on the Run Westrum organizational model. So we know that culture is intangible and it's really hard to change, but it can be measured, and it is of vital importance to any company's bottom line, right? So, for example, the research published of the State of DevOps report shows that in context of IT, job satisfaction is the biggest predictor of profitability. Sorry. So people really need to enjoy their work, to be open to learn new things, be open to this reskill and upskill, and of course, completely maybe trying a new role. So we need to really enjoy our work. So this model goes through the pathological or more the power-oriented culture, through the bureaucratic towards the more generative performance-oriented, that it's the culture that we are aiming for. And we complemented this story also with what Peter is showing now with the 5 dysfunctions of a team. So how we can build trust when there is absence, more common with new teams. So the idea is to be more vulnerable, more human, and to expose our fears so that we can engage, as it states, not in conflict per se, but really enter into this debate so that we can build the commitment and build towards this result-driven engaging.
Yep. Thanks. And I see that Daniel would like to step in to give his reflection as well. Please, Daniel, go ahead.
Right, only one comment. Well, very well said, and literally, in the majority of the cases, money is the factor as well. If you are having hard time convincing the stakeholders that it would be good to actually not be dysfunctional for their bottom line, this is the argument that is very well understood and very universal. Even if you are speaking with the CFO, even if you are speaking with the CEO, it is very good to have motivated people with the psychological safety in place. It is very good because it is very good for the customers, it is very good for the business. Happy employees, happy customers. And this is very good argument to start the debate with. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you. And in the meantime, and looking at the clock, we still have nine minutes left. And let me see in the chat if I missed a question that we would like to bring forward. Or let me look at the panel in the meantime. For maybe Luca, how was it in your breakout? Is there any insight that you would like to bring to the broader group, Luca?
Yeah, it was quite interesting. We kind of deviated during the conversation from your initial prompt, and we got to something that interesting was just what was just discussed by Daniel and Gonzalo. And somebody was sharing how they were going for a DevOps transformation. There was just a lot of worry, especially on the part of what used to be a development team, that now they have to wear a pager and they get woken up at night, and how this is all a big hassle, and which is obviously something that I very much sympathize with. Like I value my good night's sleep as much as anyone else. And the interesting discovery that we made within the group was that firstly, this transformation needs to give something back to everybody. There needs to be something in it for everybody. You can't just say, well, suck it up. This is how the world works now. It should be beneficial to everybody within the organization. And so the answer can't be, well, guess what? Now you're wearing a pager, whether you like it or not. The answer should really be, this has to be used as an opportunity to take a very close look at our processes, at our automation, at the way we run our product, so that we will make this change not painful, but actually valuable to everybody involved. And that was, I think, a quick summary of those 10 minutes of conversation. Gonzalo, you want to add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I liked a lot what you were saying, Luca, because the dynamics of any culture, of any organization is very complex. So remember that culture is strategy for breakfast, right? So we need to have a broader and more holistic vision and focus on building bridges and closing gaps that we have identified, for example, capabilities, and rather than maturity and pinpointing what we are not bringing, but to instead try to bring this message and morale up, and try to bring teams together, breaking down silos, etc., etc.
Yeah, thanks. And I'm just, let me see how we're doing from an agenda point of view. And So we are pretty close to the final closure, and it might be, Katrina, that you would like to bring a couple of other topics across. But let me first check in the audience if there is another topic that we need to tackle first. And I see that John wrote in the chat also like the what and the how. And you will see in the experimental guide also some guidelines how you can work and play with it and build up definitions within your organization to demystify not only that particular way of wording, but also for a broader set of terminologies. And one of the things that I started to do for, what is it now, 1-2 years while we're doing implementation is really having a definition list. And when people step in, that they build up a shared understanding, and sometimes they want to update the definition and bring in their thoughts. And here in Belgium, there is one organization where the Colruyt, a very known large shopping market grocery shop here in Belgium, and they are extremely good in building up definitions for almost anything within their organization. So I just want to recommend to use that and work on that as well to build up a shared understanding. And so if I look around and look in the chat, I think, Katrina, shall I give the floor to you to conclude and maybe also to advertise some other topics that are possible to follow during the day? Katrina. And it's all right. That gives me the possibility to advertise the next topic in the agenda. There, I think, for those that haven't met the new leader within DASA, then I would recommend to step into the session that will start in a few minutes from Rick Varenhorst. And so he will welcome and bring in his thoughts for those that haven't had a chance to meet him and to interact with him. So I would recommend to join and go to his session as well. And let me see. I'm looking at the clock and I'm back on my tab here. And I would like to thank everybody to participate and contribute in this 1-hour session here. And of course, those that were helping out within the panel. I would like to thank the team and also thank you for working with you in the past 1.5 years working on this guide and looking forward to move on for a later version. And so thank you. Thanks everybody and see you later in the interactions.
Thank you guys. Cheers. Have a nice one.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.
See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Thanks, Peter. You did good. That was good.
Yeah, thanks. I had
Thanks
some
a lot,
challenges with technology, and my tabs in my screen were not always going that fast, and so sometimes I didn't have any view, but together we managed. Yeah.
Exactly.
And but I thought that Katrina would do the start and the closure, but it was all right to do it in this way.
Yep. All right, guys, well, I gotta go, but I'll see you. Just want to say good job. Thanks everybody for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone. Take care.
And Gonzalo, you
Have
did
a great
good
day,
too, buddy. Yep.
Thank you, Jen.
Yep. You did awesome,
Take
buddy.
care.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.